This is the heat of the Wyfold Challenge Cup between Thames Rowing Club A and Walton Rowing Club.
Go!
We know Thames have been very strong with their programme, and expecting them to put down a good marker here early on in the race, I think, to try and see what control they can get alongside this Walton crew, starting really nicely on the right of our shaft.
Crew's starting to come together, the umpires trying to separate them. Good response from Thames. It's an immediate response. Now the dangers are heading towards the boys. Both crews drifting off left. Hopefully they can recover onto their correct line. In fact, both crews now being warned. And as we talked about earlier, this is the tricky bit. This is the hardest bit of the course for a coxless boat.
Well, with the coxless 4 going off the start there, you're trying to use their steering marker, but it doesn't really help you that much until you get a bit further down the course. Both crews will have been terrified as they're rowing along with the buoys either side of them. They've made it through the buoyed area. Now they're in the booms. They've managed not to hit them, so they can at least start to get their lines worked out. And I think it is that crew from Thames Rowing Club A on the far side who settled into a slightly better rhythm than the Walton Rowing Club crew in front of us.
And it does make it easier when you're steering a coxless boat once you've got the booms on either side for your peripheral vision. It's interesting, the crews. The Walton crew, the crew closest to us, the bow man is steering, whereas the Thames crew on the far side, the stroke man's steering. So they do it from either ends of the boat, and sometimes it's the athlete in the middle. It's whatever works for them, I suppose.
Well, I think when you're in the stroke seat, you get the clearest view down the back of the boat, over the stern, down towards the steering marks. So for a straight course, generally I prefer to steer in the stroke seat. On a river course, I guess you want to be in the bow seat. If you're training at Walton, you want to navigate your way through the bridges, around the bends, and I guess that's why they're probably used to having the steersman in the bow seat.
Thames, the bigger crew, 3/4 of a stone heavier a man, and that's starting to show as we're coming up towards Remlin. They're starting to develop a commanding lead over Walton. Really nice view of the different techniques amongst the crew. Thames looking the longer stroke, looking more synchronised. Blade works really nice, moving together. And that boat's hardly checking. Every stroke just keeps running really nice and smooth. That's a love the crew.
Like you say, they're doing very little to disturb the boat. You can see the bow staying high in the water. There's very little check on the stern of the boat. This Thames Rowing Club A were winners of coxed 4s at both Ghent and then championship coxed 4s at the Metropolitan Regatta. So they've moved from the coxed boat into the coxless 4 here for the Wyfold at Henley Royal Regatta.
Interesting shot here now is side by side. The two men in the middle, both rowing on bow side. Blades aren't quite the same angle. So there's probably more to come out of this crew later in the week. Looks like the 3-man compared to the other 3 athletes hasn't got his angles quite right.
Well, when you put the blades together like that, we call it a tandem. I guess what it's good for the physics of the boat, it helps the boat to go in a slightly straighter line. If you imagine how much leverage each athlete gets by putting a tandem in like that, you even that out. But it does show any technical difference, just that little bit more.
Yeah, there's no escape, is there? And now the Walton crew into shot.
Interestingly, also with the same sort of setup in terms of the way they have the tandem, but with the what I'd call a bow side stroke. So if we look at them, it's James McMullen in the stroke seat, but with his blade going out to the bow side, to the left or the green side. And the Walton crew still moving pretty well here, but they've come up against pretty tough opposition.
Yeah, maybe yesterday's race against Nottingham Rowing Club starting to show they had a closer race than Thames did. Walton beat Nottingham by a length and a half in a time of 7 minutes 13, which is a quick race. So particularly towards the end of this race, I think that will start to tell.
Well, Thames have put together such a strong programme in the last few years. I know they've got high hopes of this crew. They finished 4th in Championship Coxless 4s at Marlow Regatta, having made that change out of the Coxed 4, but they felt like they were ahead of their Wyfold's competition. So yes, they could again be looking to get a number of crews into the finals, and certainly into the weekend here at Henley this year.
And Walton have done equally well. They had to do it the hard way, come to the qualifiers, and they're the Walton Rowing Club's only crew at this regatta this year. So I'm sure all the Walton members enjoyed their win yesterday.
Well, they came here with an attitude which is that we went for it because we had nothing to lose. We trusted the bowman and the steering. We didn't let the other crew coming over towards us phase us in any way. So they stayed focused yesterday, and I hope they'll be pleased with their performance yesterday. I hope they'll be pleased with their performance today.
great shot of that Walton crew now as they're coming up towards the enclosures.
It's Ben Harris's back coming towards us in the Walton crew to the left of our shot. They'll still be looking to pick the pace up here in front of the enclosures, and it's Will Downley in the bow of the Thames crew, who's raced in the Wyfold in the last 3 years, so he's got plenty of experience in this. Made it to the quarterfinals in 2016, the semi-finals in 2017, hoping this will be his year in 2018.
And Walton are taking the number of strokes. They're taking it up to 37 or 38 strokes a minute. Thames, as we see in our shot now, are down at 28 or 29. They've got a commanding lead, so they can enjoy it. But Walton doing their absolute level best to get back on even terms. Lead's only down to about 2 lengths now, and they'll close up towards the finish. But unfortunately, the finish is arriving a little bit too soon for them.
Yeah, just see Matt Cummings in the stroke seat of the Thames crew. Take a look over his right shoulder and see we're coming up to the finish line. We're still in control. And so we see confirmation there, a win in the Wyfold Challenge Cup for Thames Rowing Club A over Walton Rowing Club.